Thank you, Sanna, very much for joining us and sharing the background and purposes of our partnership with Newsec. And next, we will move forward to the next subject, which is the leveraging AI in the real estate industry. Today, we will explore the why and how of AI adoption in collaboration with Newsec Finland. My name is Ville Luukkonen. I'm the head of sales of Avy in Finland, and I'm here joined by two brilliant industry colleagues. Here we have Petter Arvidsson, head of product from Avy, and from Newsec side, Lauri Pulkka, the head of digital strategy. A warm welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Petter, could you kick us off by sharing what you see is happening right now in context of AI in the real estate industry?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot going on right now within the space of AI and especially generative AI. And you can say the innovation happens on two levels. So first you have the big global tech companies that are currently pouring in billions of dollars in advancing this new technology. But then you have the next level, which is more focused product and software companies and industry players where we come in as Avy that work with the real estate industry to see how can we apply this technology on problems and opportunities that are specific to the real estate industry. So that's a very exciting area right now.
Okay, thank you. Could you be a bit more concrete on grassroots level? How can real estate companies actually benefit from AI?
Yeah. So when we work with real estate companies, we look for opportunities in three different areas. So one is how can we apply AI on automation of repetitive tasks and processes. Two, we look at using AI to improve customer service and tenant experience. And three is using AI to help organizations make better decisions by providing AI-driven data insights. So within those three areas, we try to find the opportunities.
Okay, and at the moment, how far you think the industry has come when it comes to adopting AI in general?
So I'll give you two examples. So one thing we've been working with, together with a few real estate companies now for the last 6 months, is something we called community insights. So you could say it's a way of replacing traditional customer surveys in real estate with more real-time data insights. So it gives the organization actionable insights into areas like tenant satisfaction. What's the customer and tenant satisfaction within specific areas and specific buildings? You can evaluate neighborhood safety. You can identify maintenance needs that haven't been reported. You can look at the effectiveness of tenant communication. So this is all, data insights driven by AI. Another example is what we call our co-pilot Davy. So it's, you could say, a virtual assistant that is available 24/7 for tenants to give customer support on really whatever language the tenant prefers. So take a situation where you have a tenant who needs help with a drain that is clogged. Then Davy will act as a very experienced senior, call it human support agent in real estate. So it will start with trying to understand the problem. When did it occur? How long has it been going on? What's the severity and the urgency? And then if it's appropriate, Davy will try to help the tenant to take care of the problem themselves. And if this doesn't work, then Davy will move on to consolidate all the data it has gathered and now create a maintenance request in the correct system. So what all this means is that we can improve customer service. Tenants get help Saturday evening, 11 o'clock on whatever language they prefer. We reduce incoming emails and phone calls since a lot of issues can be resolved between Davy and the tenant. And then finally, we improve the quality of those maintenance requests that actually needs to be created, which also improves the internal processes. So yeah, there you have it.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
What's the feedback been like? And more specifically, you mentioned actionable insights.
Yeah.
are your clients taking action on these insights? Like, are they making good use of that promise?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a really good question. We've been piloting this with 3 large real estate companies now, and for 6 months. And part of this pilot is about, seeing what we can do with the technology. The other part is really, okay, what do you do with the data? So these organizations have put together different teams from different parts of the organization. I would say they're still trying to figure out, how can we use the data actually in our daily operations. So that's one thing I really like with this, what's happening right now. It's about technology and how can we apply it. But like what you're alluding to, then you also need an organization that is mature to use it. So it goes hand in hand.
Thank you, Petter. Lauri, with all this in mind, how does Newsec approach the implementation of AI in high level, but also on day-to-day operations?
If I had to use one word, I'd say tangibly. So we try to demystify it. We try to make it as concrete as possible for ourselves, because obviously there's a lot happening in this area. It's not at all obvious what it is that AI means when we talk about it. It's been around since the 50s. Now it's typically generative AI that we talk about when we mention AI. So we try to approach it from, use cases, from the tools available to us, really demoing it, testing it. You mentioned you had 3 areas. I'd say on the highest level, we have 2 areas or levels that we're looking at. So we're looking at from a personal productivity angle. What does AI mean for the individual employee, our Newsec colleague? And this can be, for example, tools like ChatGPTs and Copilots, where you go in as a user, you prompt it, you get a response. You're possibly more productive or more creative through using these tools. It can also mean internal chatbots, for example. So you do retrieval augmentation, so you dump a lot of documents, your whole intranet to a chatbot, and then your employees, your colleagues can go into that chatbot and ask for advice on specific topics that you've narrowed down. So this is sort of one level, and then the second level is process automation. So this is when the user does not do the prompting, but we use AI technology to automate things, which was also one of your areas, sort of automating routine tasks and things like this. So when we use AI technology, sort of hidden out of sight from the users, to make our processes more effective, or to create insights or things like this. And of course, between these 2 levels, I see a dynamic. When we started with the personal productivity tools, and we see when people prompt ChatGPT or Copilot, they come up with good use cases to automate. So they, do it for themselves first, and they see that actually this could be very useful for the entire evaluation team, and suddenly it becomes useful for the whole sort of evaluation organization. And then we realize actually this data extraction or this insights generation AI thing we're doing, it's actually usable in a lot of different areas. And then we can sort of take it one level up and use it as a base for our automation efforts as well.
So can I ask?
Yeah.
So where do you see the biggest potential, or can you say, is it within, using chatbots and individual productivity gains, or is it more in these using AI hidden for more process automation?
I think that depends a lot on the role. So when we discuss the question of potential, we broke it down to different roles, and we have 2 business areas. So we have real estate advisory, and then we have property asset management. And of course, in asset management, it's large volume processes. We don't necessarily want every employee to go in and prompt Copilot to do their daily operations. So within PAM, generally speaking, within property asset management, we see more potential in process automation. And of course, process automation doesn't require AI. You can do non-AI process automation, but their sort of role of AI is more in process automation. But in advisory roles, where the outputs are typically very unique and where you have to combine a lot of different inputs, typically unstructured, I think that is tailor-made for generative AI. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. as you said, there is a lot of use cases, and it's been around for decades now. But it's still really trendy word, and everybody is talking about AI. What would you say to people who see AI more as a hype and not as a real tool?
I would say that I started at Newsec 8 years ago. When I started, robotic process automation was all hype. And the discussion was that people are going to lose their jobs and we're going to automate all tasks. And that certainly hasn't happened, but we do have software robots running at Newsec even today. So something from that hype has stuck. And there was a sort of a tangible, concrete core to that hype. 12 years ago, I was in Beijing and I was introduced to the Communist Party's 5-year plan. Cloud was one of the main topics in that plan, and there was a lot of hype around cloud 12 years ago. Well, I mean, we're running cloud now, so obviously something stuck. Maybe this metaphor falls flat because we're not using like NFTs, and NFTs were a lot of hype. So,
but there is always hypes coming and going, and what's interesting with this hype is that the cycle is going fast. So what we see is like 2023 was a lot of experimenting and pilots with generative AI. In 2024, we saw a lot of these pilots already going over into production. And I think we will see this year a lot of real estate companies that, especially the ones that had an early start in 2023 and have seen benefits already, that they're going to scale out the use of generative AI. So the hype cycle is quite short, I think, or faster than many other new technology advancements we've seen.
All right.
But I mean, regarding the hype as well, like new technology always, it really arouses your imagination. And I think that's what's fun about it. Like people come up with really crazy dreams and not all of those come true. But, that excitement is part of why, I personally work in tech. I enjoy that. And I know that, AI is not going to replace us in like anytime soon. But it is useful.
Yeah. Yeah, related to these really rapid cycles and if you look in the future, what do you think? How will the AI shape the whole real estate industry, let's say in the next 3 to 5 years? And what is the role that these early adapters like Newsec will play?
I would first love to hear your thoughts on the 3 to 5 years. Is that a long time frame for real estate or not?
I think it's a long time for generative AI. 5 years ago, we couldn't really see the use cases and the things we have in production today. I mean, no one could have foreseen where we are today. So I think it's really hard to say 3 to 5 years from now. But take another one. I mean, I have a lot of customers saying, well, we have all this new technology, but we're not ready, and our tenants are not ready. They're not digital and so on and so forth. But what we see is we have also a lot of real estate companies with student housing, and they're 100% digital. And this Dave is out there doing everything. The whole moving in process is digital. The moving out is already done with AI and self-inspection and things like that. And this generation in 5 years is going to be out in the society. So I think I can't predict how real estate is going to look like in 5 years, but I'm convinced it's going to be, the process is going to transform very fast, and it's going to be driven both by new technology advancements, but also by the demand from a new generation that expect this kind of behavior. So can't say exactly how, but it will change.
Yeah. I think 3 to 5 years, based on my limited experience, is a relatively short time in real estate. I think we will still recognize real estate in 5 years, despite AI. And then regarding Newsec's role as an early adopter, I don't personally believe that there is first mover advantages in implementing the current AI. I think it's too accessible. I think it's sort of too easy to implement for anybody to get like a defining advantage over implementing what's already out there. But I would be very, very worried if I was leading a company that hadn't started their data journey. So in that sense, there is being an early adopter, if it means that you're building that competence both in data and sort of understanding AI technology, then absolutely. but I don't think you're in a rush to sort of bring out as many products using AI as possible into the market at the moment. And one more thing regarding where we are in 3 to 5 years, I think absolutely sort of the flagship initiatives, whether it is the physical properties or whether it is the processes or implementation of AI, that will move forward at a really rapid pace, as you say as well. But then we will not move the other end. So the dumb buildings will remain dumb for longer than 5 years, and sort of the non-data-driven processes will remain that way. And the gap will continue to widen, and it is very interesting whether that rubber band holding those two ends together snap at some point within the next 5 years. And I think we will see a lot of development in the business models. How are properties that are very smart, how are they managed and owned differently than the sort of the bulk of the properties that are possibly in the, let's say, not as smart end of the spectrum.
Okay. And now it's time to wrap things up. Thank you, Petter, thank you, Sanna, and thank you, Lauri, for joining us today for this studio session. Big thank you also for everyone watching the session, and please stay tuned for the upcoming webinars and market insights. We got plenty more to share.